sensual and visual with our energetic experiences, it would not be good for a crystal to engage in casual sex so much, because we can see the energetic exchange that happens between two people when they have sex. And it is a massive energetic exchange when people have sex. We can see the spiritual significance of it. So those kind of experiences really like go deep, you know, they hit home. So the things that some other people, what I've noticed with my journey as a crystal is like other experiences where people just can have a very grounded physical experience and just shake it off, like maybe have a blazing row with someone. You know, maybe you're in work and I notice a friend have a blazing row with the boss, and they can just kind of shake it off like water off a duck's back and go, you know, he's an asshole, whatever, and go back to work or get a cup of tea or whatever. Crystals can't do that. No. If we have a massive emotional exchange, energetic exchange, it, you know, it really hits us. So we'd be inclined, until we get a handle on holding that space and holding that grounded energy I talked about staying in the physical body. Experiences of conflict, of, you know, if there's shouting or rowing or arguments or anything that's not peaceful and not crystalline, can really floor us. So, you know, we could be physically sick after having a blazing row with someone, or we could just be depressed or really shook up, you know. Any massive kind of very physical arguments or conflict and things like that can literally, like, you know, shake a crystal where they're literally shaken for the rest of the day, and just their core is destroyed, their solar plexus just, you know, turns, like, breaks like glass. Because we're not great, that's one thing I will say, we are not great at being grounded beings. We're not the best at grounding. It doesn't come so naturally to us, because we just feel more at home in the divine, in the spiritual side of things, in the energetics of things. We're much more in our emotional bodies. Our physical bodies can be a bit of a struggle for us. So we often suffer with very cold feet and very cold hands. The only time my hands really heat up and feel lovely and warm is when I'm doing energy healing, when I'm working on someone's etheric bodies, you know, doing a session. Then my hands burn like really strong and give off a lovely heat. But for the most part, our hands and feet will be very cold, because we don't really reside in the physical body. We should, and we should practice doing that. Which is why I'd say physical activity is vital. Physical activity is so important for crystal souls. It's important that you engage in something that really pulls you back into your physical body, like jogging, you know, pounding on the ground really pulls you, focuses you in. Dancing is brilliant for crystals, because that's the artistic, expressive, you know, energetic side. Trampolining's great, cycling, sports are great, keep you very grounded, keep you very physical. So working out is definitely a priority for crystals, because as I said, there is definitely a struggle for staying grounded. We're very happy to float out of the physical body and, you know, as they say, wave the fairies up in the clouds, so to speak, with spirit. Because that's really where we feel home. We don't quite fully feel home in the physical, having a physical experience. However, we know that we kind of signed up for this. And if we don't know that, as we get older, we'll usually come around to remembering that and knowing that. Another trait or common one for crystals can be that when life gets tough and we really feel overwhelmed, getting overwhelmed is a big one for crystal souls. Again, it's that need to regroup, to integrate. Once we're integrating regularly, keeping ourselves grounded, eating well, plant-based, you know, keeping ourselves on an even keel, keeping that alignment and equilibrium we'll usually be okay. However, there's going to be times we do get overwhelmed. Maybe we're working too much. Maybe we're around a lot of people. Maybe we're not getting that solitude, that me time, that quality me time. Maybe we're not looking after ourselves as much as we can. That will hit us way quicker and will manifest much faster in a crystal than in the other energetic vibratory souls, vibrations of other souls, because we have such a big aura. We absorb a lot, you know, we take a lot. The bigger the aura, the more energy's going on. And the crystals are natural downloaders. We're channels. We are channels. That's how we're in the right place at the right time, saying the right thing to people, and, you know, being that complete unconscious but source of inspiration and healing and often guidance for people. And because of that, sometimes, you know, that's a lot of work going on. And again, a lot of it's just us living our daily lives, going to the bus stop, chatting to people. You know, we're very open. We're very trusting. There's an innocence in the crystals that people are drawn to, and they drawn to that for a reason, so that they can get the message, so that we can actually deliver, you know, what the angels, what spirit has to say to that person. But when we do get overwhelmed, we can go right down, like deep down, you know. And what can happen is the heart of the crystal starts longing to go home. There's a feeling of, oh, I'm so over this physical time-space experience and I just want to go home. It's important to remember that you did volunteer to come here. And there is great purpose and power in your being here. And I think once we kind of are reminded of that and we remember that, it can help lift that heavy depression. It can help lift that feeling of being trapped in the physical plane or being bogged down. But also those other things like getting out into nature. You know, if we don't get physically out into nature regularly, it definitely has a detrimental effect on us. I mean, that goes for everybody. But because our auras are such road sweepers, or, you know, it's like a big broom. It cleans, it lightens, it enlightens. Because we have such sensitive auras and we pick up so much intuitively, energetically, and aurically, nature is the ultimate detoxifier for that. So going into the woods, walking by the sea, going up the mountains, like I'm talking proper raw nature, the more organic and natural, the better. That will just clear out all the layers of the aura and all that stuff, and we can go back to then kind of being back at 0 point balance again. So it's all about balance, and it's all about remembering that you are here for a purpose, and for a very powerful purpose. And, you know, you are doing your work just by being here. By being here is enough. Now, and on the note of purpose, a lot of crystals feel a lack of purpose in their lives. They often complain about having a lack of direction, feeling lost, a bit like a ghost floating around in their lives and in the world. But the crystal needs to understand that their job is just to hold, is just enough by holding the light, holding that space for others, holding that beautiful crystalline cocoon of healing, loving energy. And crystals are incredibly loving souls. We have such compassion. We pour out love. We're non-judgmental, you know. We let people be where they are. We accept them as they come to us. We're not interested in changing people or convincing people or critiquing people. That's just like a crystal. When gossip starts, you know, if you're in work and people start gossiping or bitching, a crystal's just like, oh, get me out of here. I don't want to be part of this. This is just not my energy. It's just so negative. It's so heavy. It's so physical, you know. It just doesn't sit with the divine frequency that crystals are. So another thing is, you know, you might notice if you're a crystal that you feel a bit lost at times, you know. You feel like, you know, what is my purpose? where's my direction? You know, other people know what they want to be from the time they're such an age. I'm kind of floating around the place. You're not floating around. You're not. If you're a crystal, you're doing your job just by walking into a room. Seriously. It took me a long time to really understand this and to figure this out. The crystal's aura does the job. By being an open, loving energy, by smiling, by saying a kind word. I think if you really want to feel you're on purpose and you're on point as a crystal, you've got to be courageous. You've got to speak. You've got to say what needs to be said. So the crystalline energy is aligned with divine truth. And sometimes, you know, speaking the divine truth can really be scary, because you might be afraid of the reaction it gets. You might be afraid that it's rejected, or, you know, you're told to mind your own business or whatever. But if you really want to feel on purpose as a crystal, when you feel that your intuition is really encouraging you to speak up and give that message to someone, do it. Say it. It's so worth it. That's your job. I mean, yes, we are healers. We often become therapists. We often study alternative medicine. We go down all those paths. But really, the real, if you want to strip it all back, the core of your work and your teaching will be to say what needs to be said, to communicate that, to be there, actually, just to be present, to show up as your authentic self. That's the ultimate for the crystalline souls. And I think a lot of crystals really struggle with this because, you know, we live in a very practical world. We live in a physical, practical, logistical time space where people want tangible things. They want tangible careers and tangible cash and tangible experiences. And a lot of the times for crystal, it's like, where do I fit into that? Because my take on things and my experience of things is more etheric and more energetic. But I think the sooner you make peace with your highly energetic and etheric senses and approach to life, the better. You know, it's just about really accepting yourself. Because I remember from a very young age, you know, struggling with the strong intuition, with the strong psychic gifts, and just kind of almost hiding it and wanting to feel like I was normal or wanting to feel like I fit in. But the truth was, I just wasn't interested in the normal stuff, you know. I was fascinated by energy and the physics of energy and spirituality and living a very clear life and truth and freedom and love. And I didn't want to do the chit chat and talk about the weather and talk about house prices, you know. So it's just about, first of all, finding yourself, and then the world will start to reflect back other people who actually are, you know, your kith and kin, and you can then connect with those people. And thank God I have my few beautiful souls who totally understand the way I function in the world and my unusual lifestyle, my unusual perspective on things, and love that about me, in fact. But I had to first learn to embrace and love that about myself. I had to take responsibility for, you know, not just unapologetically saying, well, this is what fascinates me, this is what interests me. And then, of course, I start to teach about it. I start doing meditation classes and seminars and seeing people, and that's where your true self and your passion can come together and can really serve you in your life. So I hope that sheds more light, more crystal light, on the crystal souls. You can visit me on my website at aveendoyle.com. And you can see me on Facebook at Vibration Meditation. And please subscribe to my channel and and give this video a thumbs up. It would really lighten my day. So, crystal blessings.